Hello, everyone, and welcome to my TED Talk, Learning Without Fear Lessons from Two Little Boys. When I was in the university, I decided to make a decision that changed my life. I signed up for an exchange program to study 2 semesters in Montreal, Canada. I went there with just enough English to survive classes. But my real goal was to live the language and push myself to truly learn it. What I didn't know was that my best English teachers would turn out to be 2 little boys, Brendan and Kieran. And that's where my story really begins because sometimes the best way to learn is not a classroom, but through human connections. And sometimes our best teachers are just the smallest ones. So when I arrived in Montreal, my English was very academic. I could read, I could write, but speaking fluently, that was a different story. To take things further, I found a part-time job as a nanny, as a babysitter. I started taking care of two little brothers. Brendan was 4 years old at that time, and Kieran was 2 years old. So 3 or 4 times a week after my university classes, I would pick up Kieran at daycare, take him home, cook him lunch, and put it down for his nap. And about 3 p.m., I would wake him up and would go together to pick up Brendan, his brother, from kindergarten. So usually we walk, or well, sometimes we take the bus. That depends of the weather. And back home, I would prepare snacks, play with them, and just like wait for their parents to come home from work. It sounds simple, but behind these routines, every day become a small adventure for me and a new lesson. At first, it was I was so nervous about speaking because my mind would freeze. I forget words. I worried that people wouldn't understand me because I thought that I had really limited vocabulary and I was really afraid to talk with native speakers and had real conversations. But as you might guess, with kids and working with them and being with them the whole time, you simply can't stay silent. They make you speak no matter what. So I remember one anecdote. One day, Brendan, the older one, got a bit annoying with me because, well, I used to whenever I didn't understand a word or need help with pronunciation, I used to ask him to repeat it over and over again. So one day he looked at me and said, a little frustrated, "Why do you always ask me to say everything twice?" So I sat down with him and explained it. Brendan, I'm from Colombia. My first language is Spanish. And in my country, we don't speak English. And I came here to Canada to study and learn. And when I ask you to repeat something, you help me learn. You are my teacher. So I think that something changed after that conversation. From that day, Brendan didn't wait for me to ask. When I mispronounce a word, he would gently correct me. He jumped to correct me. And he even made me repeat it back until I got it right. So little by little, my small teachers helped me lose fear of speaking wrong and helped me find the courage to speak at all. By that time, with Brendan and Kieran, well, that time wasn't just not only about learning English. Yes, I learned new vocabulary. I improved my pronunciation and get more acceptance about not being a bilingual person and got more confidence to talk with native speakers. But I also learned patience when I was trying to explain myself, when I didn't like have uh, the words to speak. I learned also responsibility, like when I had to check every ingredient in the food that Kitten was going to eat because he had really serious food allergies, and I had to learn every single word in English so I could avoid him to get sick. I learned how to connect with children, how to gain their trust, and how to give them my love and care. They both, Kieran and Brendan, taught me to slow down, to listen, to repeat, just like they did with me. And at the end, um, it was this bond, and not just the words, that made the biggest difference in my life. By the end of that year, when the university exchange program ended, saying goodbye to them was the hardest part of living Montreal because I really love those kids, and I just like in some point started feeling like my own child, my own children. when when I came back to Colombia, I took some time. It took some time to notice what had changed after this experience. But one day, when I was able to switch from English to Spanish without even thinking about it, I think I was talking with a tourist on the street. I realized that I had stopped being afraid of speaking English. Of course, my English is not perfect. I still have to improve a lot. Sometimes I forget words and I mix things up. But now I understand that mistakes are not failures, that they are part of the process, and that makes all the difference. So, why am I sharing this story with you? I just want to speak to anyone who feels too afraid to learn a language, or thinks that it's too late or believes they can't do it. Uh, don't just study, live the language. Talk to people, make friends, work with kids if you can. Children have a magical way to teach us. They speak simple, forgive mistakes, and also remind us to stay always curious. If you can travel as I did, connect online, watch kids videos. I follow like three IG accounts with kids. Some of them actually teach English, and all of them just talk, speak different things, and just listen how they speak, repeat after them, just like I did with Brendan and Kieran. Well, so in the end, what I discovered was simple. Sometimes our best teachers come in small size. And sometimes the biggest lessons come when we stop being afraid to learn. That's it. Thank you so much.